Welcome back, folks, to the ANZ Proleague, brought to you by GameStar. I'm Zeph, with me is Death, and we are hoping that OSC can put a point on the board here, because otherwise it will be a 3-1 for SYF, and it'll be a very short night. But we do have a TVT coming up. Death, I think we've both said that we're feeling hard at the moment. If you had a percentage, what percentage chance would you give Fuely, who's more of an unknown entity for us?
About 350. I give him maybe
about 350.
about maybe 3.5% to take out HuT here. I mean, I'm kind of being facetious, but honestly, it's to me like it probably isn't too far off. Like on a realistic note, I don't know, maybe 15, maybe like 20%. If
okay.
That's probably being generous though. Yeah, I'll just stick with 350. Anyways, what about you, man? Like, what are you thinking from this match?
I was gonna give Fuely maybe a 30%.
Whoa, all right.
Yeah, I was gonna be a little bit more.
You want that ace match, don't you?
I do. I desperately want it. And I had a quick perv of Fuely's illegal act profile, see who he's gone up against, and he's actually never faced HuT in any of these sort of weekly cups that he's playing. So unless there's one we don't know about, I think most of his TVT has come up against players like Azure. Seems to be the main one he's hit in terms of Terrans. So
and how's he been doing against Azure?
Good question. Let's have a look. See, put it this way: his TVT win rate is 47.83%.
Right. Okay. Have to see the caliber of opponents that's against, because if you get 47% against Citra and Azure, that's pretty impressive.
It is. I mean, he's got some games against like people like Keen and stuff, so he's had some tough opponents.
He's been around the block then. All right.
But yeah, it seems like Azure tends to get the better of him most of the time. A few matches against Illusory as well. So I don't know, man. I'm just sort of excited to see how he plays, because I've heard his name come up a lot recently.
Cool. Well, we need fresh blood, right? Like, we need some more people to start playing this game. If you guys out there don't play StarCraft, it's now free to play, and you can jump right in, access the whole multiplayer for free, and now is a great time to get started. And with that, let's get started with this match and introduce our player up here in the top left in the teal. Play for Team TT SYF Gaming. It's HuT.
And in the bottom right, the fresh blood that we were just talking about, representing OSC Elite. This is Fuely.
Already a deviation with these openings. Fuely going for the barracks first, while HuT going for gas first. Now this almost always indicates the player that opens up... sorry, it's the other way around. Fuely... no, it's not. Oh my god, I actually just completely got confused. There we go, that's my embarrassing moment for the cast. Alright, so the player that goes barracks first almost always goes for an expansion first, whereas HuT, who's going gas first, could go into a fast factory, could go for lots of tech, could open up in so many different ways, whereas Fuely kind of has to go for an expansion, because that's the only thing that really makes sense beyond some one-base plays.
Yeah, we'll see what he throws out. In the last TVT series we saw HuT play, he went for that one Rax expand, and then moved on into a couple of Cyclones and the Raven.
Good choice, yep.
So, keen to see if he does something similar and switches it up a little bit here. There's that expansion going down at the natural. Similarly, Fuely going to follow suit there.
So both players going for an expansion, but because HuT got the gas first, his factory starts a lot faster than his opponent. And that's a little bit of a concern, because if you get your factory first, you can be aggressive first, because your starport then comes out faster. If you're going for a drop, then your medivac's out faster. And if you're attacking in TVT, you're probably winning the game.
Yeah. So that's the risk you take, right? Like when you delay those tech buildings, I mean, you kind of put yourself more on the defensive. Whoa, 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 okay. That's not what I expected.
The absolute madman. Going for a third command center before even making a factory or a second gas. Look, if it pays off, he's gonna get such a big lead. But, like, if HuT does anything aggressive, just make some Cyclones or a Banshee or something, Fuely could be in a lot of trouble, and it can make you look very silly when you go for such greed and you get punished for it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting here like, is he going to be okay? Because the tech is going to come out so late, and I'm picturing HuT coming in for his pokes or his harassment, and Fuely kind of scrambling to have stuff to deal with it. And I mean, he's keeping tabs, I guess, because he's got the Reapers out here. Lost one. But yeah, it's so greedy. I can't believe it.
The funny thing is, you can go for a fast third command center and you can make it into an orbital, but if you get contained and you can't fly it out to the third base, it doesn't really give you that much of an advantage at all. So, like, HuT, he's already got his Hellions out. He'll be able to go for Marine and Widow Mine drop if he wants to. Widow Mine's going to be coming out here, so he can strike Fuely in 2 different places at once. And behind that, he is going to be able to transition very well. Now, HuT needs to identify what's happening very quickly to be able to try and keep the pressure on. Because if Fuely gets a good trade, he is going to be in the lead.
Yeah, if he can hold on to this, he's going to be pretty golden going into the mid-game here. But HuT also, you know, he's going to know what he's up against soon, especially once he sneaks on into that main. And maybe he grabs himself a couple of SCVs or something, but he'll see that there's a third command center there. And he'll know that he probably needs to do something about that, or at least keep it from landing. So at the moment, he's just got a couple of units parked out the front to keep tabs on it, while this medevac sneaks around the sides. It looks like he may actually drop into the natural here.
He could also go in with the Hellions too, and so the Hellions and the Reaper can run by, and he can do this mine drop in the back. Now, Fuely doesn't have stim. It's still about a minute away, and HuT is denying a lot of mining time. Won't be losing too many of those SCVs. Fuely keeps a lot of them alive. HuT now going into the main. How much more damage can he do?
Well, so far he hasn't actually picked off any more SCVs, I don't think. But the units in the natural have free reign at the moment because the bunker was emptied out, so he's going to pick up some kills here in the natural base, start affecting that economy, and he's still sort of dancing back and forth with the medevac in the main because it's hard for Fuely to catch him without that stim.
Great control so far. Fuely loses a lot of mining time, and this is what I was talking about. The aggression from HuT has meant that Fuely, he had a third CC, but he's actually down 5 workers with the worst economy right now. Does manage to pick up that medevac, which is nice. And the Widow Mine actually friendly fires one of his Marines down. So Fuely can take just a moment. He's got a bit of breathing room. He's got stim. He can get combat shields, and he will have an upgraded damage. So it's not all bad news for him. But I like HuT's position a little bit more.
Yeah, and HuT's third base is about halfway done at this point, and his own stim about halfway done as well, starting to move into some of those siege tanks, so hopefully he can get himself a nice position if Fuely does decide that now is the time for some damage of his own. But yeah, so that third base for Fuely has landed now very comfortably. He can start muling it up, getting some extra production in the mix as well, and that's really when we'll start to see his production surge forward, and he can really make use of these upgrades that he's got coming.
Only the first couple of medevacs coming out now for Fuely. No tanks yet on the field. He'll need to start producing those pretty soon. And look at this, Saf. We've got a double drop from HuT. HuT is up about 20 supply. His stim is going to finish at about the same time that this drop happens. He's got his 1-1 on the way, so he'll be able to catch back up in the upgrades as well. And that third base will be able to be dropped behind this. Just really orthodox play from HuT. No risks really being taken so far. And here comes the drop.
Oh, targeting down that tech lab on the factory right away. He can have basically free reign of any add-ons that he wants in here. He's going to go for the tech lab on the racks. Will he go for some reactors, or will he go for... Okay, another tech lab. All the tech labs are his primary focus at the moment. Now that the drop has come in from Fuely, he picks up, moves into the natural. Can he mow down some SCVs on his way out? No, he's just going to hightail it out of that area. The Marines hot on his heels there.
Yep, but nice damage from HuT. It means that Fuely can't actually make any tanks. When you don't have the tanks, pretty tough, Zeph, to actually defend multiple locations at once. Because, I mean, you see here, at the same time as all that was happening, HuT had a couple of tanks. He's defended in his front just in case of any counterattacks. And here we go. Oh. Immediately snipes a tank. Nice moves there, but will lose some of those Marines. Actually, nice pickup. And HuT escapes with that wounded medivac.
Yeah, his army's looking pretty good back at home. I mean, 4 tanks, getting up to about 40 Marines and a good number of medevacs as well, whereas Fuely's hurting a little bit more. While he's got a roughly equal amount of Marines, he doesn't have the medevacs, he doesn't have the tanks, so that gives him a lot less options. Like, he doesn't really have a chance to...
Where did this come from?
What? He must have left it there before, right? That's the only explanation I have.
That was the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Oh.
Just need like sad violin music and some Jaden Smith quotes to really round that out. How can Marines be real if our eyes aren't real? Jesus. Alright, so 2-2 coming up from HuT. He's got that center tower as well, adding on the extra gas, so his economy's in a decent position. He's up a little bit in supply. Fuely has a lot of Marines. So HuT does need to be pretty careful, because if he takes a bad fight, then the sheer amount of Marines that Fuely has can do a lot of damage. I'm kind of curious as well. Fuely, he's got those medivacs out, but he's moving to the part of the map where the center tower is. I don't know if I like that decision, especially because HuT is now making that wall of missile turrets too.
Yeah, he's got to be a little bit careful or he might get bopped before he starts anything, really. A few units heading through the middle of the map as well, and he's starting to...
Could be good. Could be good. He's kind of baiting it. He's baiting it. And now HuT, he's got to see it. He immediately starts moving back. And Fuely... Oh, he's going to charge into some Marines. Don't do that. We'll be able to siege up. HuT will be able to come in, though. He does have a great army. He's got a lot of tanks. He can start sieging these up and clearing this force out. Nice move from HuT.
Oh, but HuT, he's got a fair chunk of units here. In fact, he doesn't even afraid. He's going straight in, spreads out in a line, mows down all the Marines, and gets those siege tanks out of the way as well. So Fuely, while he was able to unload, did lose the whole of that force, only taking out a couple of SCVs there. So really, he didn't achieve anything.
Fuely, the one good thing he's got going for himself this game is the upgrades. So he's already started his +3. That'll be instrumental later on. He is going to have an upgrade disadvantage briefly, and that window is going to last about a minute. And then he'll go ahead again at some stage. HuT, though, he's still playing this like more standard style. He's getting that 4th base up and running on the left-hand side, and his unit position has been great so far. So even though Fuely is now up in supply, I still favor HuT's position.
Yeah, especially now that he's caught up with his upgrades, I think he's still looking pretty good. He's got that 4th base up sooner and it's already mining. He's getting turrets up there and there's a couple of tanks parked just in case of any harass from our friend Fuely over here.
Fuely is also up to 82 workers, so a lot of kind of densifying that. He's running out, man. He's not even going for a 4th. He wasn't going for a 4th base, but he is now. And look at him go. All of those Marines are so wounded and takes a horrible fight.
Oh dear, charging up a ramp is always a bit of a gamble. And HuT had the much better siege tank positioning there. Fuely's tanks really didn't play a role in that at all. So he lost basically all the buffer he had there. He's down to 4 Marines back at home, so this territory is HuT's for the taking. He's got 2 sensor turrets up as well, so that Fuely is going to have a hard time sneaking past him right now. And HuT now rallies the bulk of his army together. Looks like he might head over to that 4th base location maybe and start putting pressure on there.
Yeah, if he can just camp at that 4th base or even get a deny before he can finish. he's going to have the game locked down, and it'll be his game to lose from there. I mean, look at his fourth base. It's so well defended. You're never getting through this.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask, and in fact, there's the cancel right away in that fourth base, and HuT is just stimming forward. Oh! He gets a bunch of the medevacs, and a lot of the SCVs are running through that marine line as well. The tanks for HuT lagging behind a little bit, but will now get the seize position that they desire, and that's perfect for HuT to micro back through. There's just no way for Fuely to break that at this point in time. HuT is starting to run out of Marines here in this little forward hit squad, but he takes this opportunity to move his tanks forward yet again.
Oh, this is going to be checkmate, Seth. HuT is up almost 60 supply, and he's just in this position where he is going to be able to take out that natural CC. Fuely is trying to get a CC of his own set up there, kind of as a third or fourth base on the left-hand side, but there's nothing left at home. Fuely has to load up into his medivacs and come straight away, otherwise he's going to lose all of his production.
Yeah, there's a bit of a timer here. he's got to get up in here. He's lost his natural. Those SCVs there are all going to get taken out. And while there's not a lot of Marines left on the front lines, the HuT is still just demolishing so much of this. Some units coming down the ramp and getting killed straight away. And Fuely's finally going to push forward here.
Yes, he should be able to clean up the rest of the tanks, but look at what else is coming. It's like HuT just says, here you go, son. And Fuely taps out. GG, and HuT leads SYF to a 3-1 victory.
He certainly does, and that means that SYF, once again, 2 nights in a row, is the victor here for the ANZ StarCraft 2 Pro League in their match against OSC Elite, having taken Legacy down on Tuesday night. So they've got to be pretty stoked with that result.
Oh, yeah, and I'm calling it now. SYF will be in the grand finals of this Pro League. I mean, already with 2 wins on the board, the performance that they've got, the roster that they've got, I don't see any universe in where they're not in the finals. And look, I'm going to say it right now, with the performances that we've seen from each player, I think they're going to win the whole league.
Yeah, God, they've got such a solid roster, and they're one of the longest standing teams in our region as well. So they've had that time to sort of really solidify a really strong lineup with their players. So I agree with you. I think we have a high chance of seeing these guys in the grand finals, especially with a great start like that, going up 2-0 in the season so far. Pretty awesome for them. So condolences to OSC Elite, but we'll be seeing much more of them in the future, rest assured. That actually wraps it up for us tonight, guys. But next week we will have OSC Elite going up against Downfall, I believe, on Tuesday night.
Yes.
And we're also going to look to cover the matches on Wednesday night, I believe, that we missed on Tuesday, as there were 2 matches going on at once, and that was 1F Pro versus Downfall as well. So 2 nights of Downfall matches next week.
And then on Thursday, we'll have 1F Pro Gaming versus Legacy Esports. And all of the VODs from these broadcasts will be available as well. We've got a link, which is bit.ly /watch ANZPL, which is all in caps. And that'll just take you straight to the page where you can watch all of the VODs, catch up on any of the action that you've missed, or if there's been some crazy build order that you'd love to emulate, you can go and maybe get a notepad out and copy that stuff down.
Yeah, that's the one. So make sure you guys check that out and join us every Tuesday and Thursday and the odd Wednesday that we'll no doubt be tweeting about for these matches. 7 p.m. AEDT for the round robin matches to continue all the way into December, at which point we'll determine who is going on to the grand finals to win the top prize in this $3,500 prize pool total. So
December 19, that grand final is going to be. So mark that on your calendar and make sure that you stick around for the grand final and all of the action that's coming your way. And a big shout out to Blizzard, who've been very, very kind to fund such great content for us during this time of the year. And a big shout out to the guys at GameStar, who've done a fantastic job with production. Had a few glitches and a few technical issues in the first broadcast, but I think all of that is behind us, and tonight's gone really smoothly. So huge props to them, and it's going to be just so much better looking forward as we'll have more and more matches, more content, and I'm sure some great storylines along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all for watching tonight. Hope we see you again next week for more ANZ StarCraft 2 Pro League action. But for tonight, that is it for us. So we will see you next time.
See you next time.